Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Guys Off-Grid Cabin, where the work is never done, but we're doing it just for fun. So we're here today at the cabin and we're trying to take and make repairs to the solar array. I had some panels that I had stored up that I had to go get to replace the ones that were damaged, and if you didn't see my last video where we showed all the hail damage there, it was bad. But the framework for the array was actually not damaged that much. And so what we're doing today is we've took our old handy dandy post hole diggers, we've dug some holes here, and we're going to put some 4x4 posts in the ground, and we're going to cement this thing in so that hopefully it won't get flipped again by another weather event. Once I get through here, this thing is going to be cemented in the ground enough to where if it gets flipped out of here, probably nothing else is going to be left around here either. I want to show you a handy tool that I use extensively. It's good for floors. And let me get you to come up here where everybody can see what I'm talking about. This is a Cobalt countersink. We use Torx bits on it, but I want you to see this. It has a drill bit and a countersink on the end of it. And so all you can do, you just flip it around and you can take and drill pilot holes and such for screws. And I'm going to show you just how good this works. Let me get you to come around here and show everybody where these two pilot holes I just punched in here. You got everybody sideways, but that's okay. We don't edit out goof ups, and that includes camera operator errors.
I'm allowed.
Yeah, you're allowed. She's good for something. Of course, sometimes I'm still trying to figure out what.
Ha ha.
I used to use Phillips head screws, and the problem with Phillips head screws when you're doing stuff like this is the heads want to strip out on you real easy. But when I switched to these Torx bits and these boxes like this, they all come with a free bit in there, which is perfect. These things don't hardly ever slip. Did I happen to mention also that this driver is also magnetic? Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and see it. The screws just hanging on in there, which is very helpful when you need an extra hand. But did you see how easy that went in there? And I mean, I was kind of in an awkward position right there, okay? And yet that screw went in there without any trouble whatsoever. I like idiot-proof tools, okay? Because I'm an idiot sometimes. And I will admit it.
You said it. I was singing it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Well, You see also what I have to put up with? Mrs. PC Guy's a smart ass.
Right, right along with him.
Maybe that's why I keep her around. Because she's entertaining. So anyway, here's what's next step on this project. We're going to nip these little pieces off here with the circular saw. We'll get a couple bags of ready mix out, and we'll pour some ready mix in around all of these 4x4s, and that should hold this thing down unless something really bad happens. I kind of feel like that if that happens, this is going to be the least of my worries.
Yeah.
I've got some wire, and what we're going to do is we're going to take and start at where the original wires ended. We're going to just take and splice these wires together, put it all in conduit, and we're going to run conduit over here. And I was going back and reviewing the specifications for the charge controller that I'm using, and according to it, it'll handle 55 volts DC coming in from the array. So with that in mind, we're going to change the configuration up on this these panels just a little bit. We're going to run 2 panels in series each. They're 24 volt panels, so that'll put you depending on the weather, 48, 50 volts, but it'll cut my amp load down in half running it that way. Another issue that you get into with solar arrays is the further you are from the array to your charge controller on DC voltage, the more line drop you have. Now, electricians, they have a complicated formula that they can take and tell you how much line drop there is. Maybe I ought to explain what line drop is. That the further you get from the power source to where you're going with it, especially with DC voltage, the more drop off in voltage you're going to get. That's why the standard voltage for homes is AC voltage, because you don't have these line drop issues to the degree you have with DC voltage. DC voltage will, if you go very far with it, you'll lose a significant amount of your energy there, which is why you have to up the voltage to compensate for all that. Like I say, electricians, they take and have a complicated formula that's way above my head on how to figure all that stuff out. I'm gonna just take and guesstimate on it and use a heavy enough gauge wire that we should be able to not have too much of an issue with that. So let me take a little break here from the camera. I'm gonna get this concrete and everything together, and then we'll start pouring concrete. Alright, so I've got my wheelbarrow, I've got my pickup backed up here, because frankly I ain't gonna tote this concrete no more than I got to, because it's heavy. Let's see if we can mix up a little concrete and dump in here and I messed up. We brought our 15-gallon barrel up here. It's supposed to have been full of water. But you know, when you leave the valve open on it and not knowing it, guess what happens? All the water runs out of it. I goofed. So I'm hoping I got enough water to do this job with. Because if not, I'm gonna have to go try to find me some water. Like I need some more. Go slow with this pouring water in here on this mix, because you don't want to get it too soupy. And right now, it looks too soupy. You know, it never hurts to take and look and see what other folks throw away. This old wheelbarrow ain't much, but you know what? Somebody throwed it away. And it's not a real good wheelbarrow, but I don't mind using it to take mixed concrete in. This old concrete's a little more soupy than what I would use if I was pouring a slab or something, but you need it to be able to take and run in these holes and everything, so I'm gonna leave it just a little bit on the wet side. It'll still cure.
Get it right in front of me.
My bad. You know, I think our viewers know that we're not exactly professionals. Get my old shovel here because some of it's sticking to the wheelbarrow. Once you get that old concrete up in there, you do want to take and tap it down with something. You know, silly me, I'm so worried about making videos and stuff that I didn't exactly find anything to tap it down with other than the handle on my shovel. Now once all that cures in there and everything, that should last for a very long time. I'm gonna sit here and tap on it a little bit more and compact it some more, but I'm not gonna bore you with all the details of that. So we're gonna stop right here until we get to the next phase of the restoration of all this. Hey, look, folks, I done put her to work. I'm not gonna let her stay out here long. I'm painting on this thing because it is like hotter than hell out here right now. But she's getting it done. I'm just to take and jump on this thing and help her paint it. All right, so it's the next day, and I got up early this morning and got back to work on this solar array, and let's take a look and see how it's working out so far. I've got all my panels mounted. I've used galvanized L-shaped brackets to hold these panels on here, and just use self-tapping screws to go into the aluminum on the side of the frame of the panels. So it should hold up pretty good. Everything's pretty stable. Let me take you around here and show you exactly what we did. Gotta excuse the mess. It's a construction site. We have messes.
Yeah, he's waiting for me to clean it up.
Uh-huh. Come on over here and let me show you what I got going here. I happen to have this on hand. It's a 30 amp fused power disconnect, and so we needed a good fuse out here just in case something happens. So I've got a lever on here. I can shut the power off as needed. We ran conduit all the way over to the house. Notice I got a junction box here. Now, what we did was we just got some more wire and spliced into the original wiring, and used brass split bolts to join those wires together. But I needed to take and have some sort of box to take, because you know those things are you won't fit inside a conduit. And then the splices, once we got them together, we wrapped them in rubberized 3M electrical tape, ran it over to the house. And remember I said I show you that I goof up sometimes. I was gonna put this up there on the wall and messed around and bought the wrong size. So now I've got to take and get another one, the correct one, and I'll just have to go inside and take it loose from the charge controller and add this in there so that make sure water doesn't take and penetrate up into there.
That's what happens when you have to go to 3 different stores to find what you're looking for.
Mrs. PC Guy brings up a point. We went into one Lowe's store, and I don't know what happened with them. Their electrical section was just wiped out. Half the stuff I needed, they didn't have. And we tried to go to Home Depot. They closed early that day. they were still closing at 6 o'clock. And wound up having to go to another Lowe's store and get stuff. And we managed to find the rest of the stuff at that Lowe's location. So far it looks like it's going to work out pretty good. I do want to take and show you one other thing here. This is something that's temporary. I'm going to change this out to, because we had to have an extension cable to run all the way over to these other panels. But I want you to see this wire here and see how light colored it is. This type of wire is very susceptible to UV rays, and left exposed like this, the UV rays will destroy this insulation on here in a very short amount of time. You can see how light colored it is. This is supposed to be a very dark red. We're going to take and tape this up and put electrical tape around it to protect it from the UV rays until I can go, and I'm going to get some extension cables that are factory made to do this job with. And then it'll, the rubber that they use on there is resistant to UV rays. So it'll look a lot neater once we get that on there. But when you're doing a job like this, sometimes you just got to use what you got. And this is what I had. So it looks like it's going to work out for us in the long run. The framework is much more stable. I'm sitting here pulling on it. It's not hardly moving. It's the posts are about 24 inches in the ground. They're cemented in with concrete. So the only issue that we got here now with it is if we have another hailstorm like the one we had here a few weeks ago. And pretty much no solar panel is going to survive the impacts of softball size hail. We are looking at some ideas on how to protect these panels when we're not here, and maybe cover them up some which way. I looked at maybe getting a sheet of Lexan that we could put over them when we're not here. But have you priced Lexan? Because I looked at it, and a 3 feet by 4 feet sheet of Lexan at Lowe's was about $75. And with this big of an area that we got to cover, that's going to get a little expensive. So now that we got this out of the way, in the next few weeks we're going to be working on some other nifty projects that well, I hope you'll like them, because I'm really excited to get started with them. And so go ahead and hit that notification bell if you would. Remember to give us a thumbs up. And so we do appreciate you watching, and until next time, thanks for joining us.